Welcome into the RotoWire, a fantasy show. I'm Adam Zdroik. I'm going to be going over the two Premier League matches on Wednesday, May 3rd. First off, rotowire.com/soccer trial. Get a free 48-hour trial. I'm going to be using this cheat sheet, which you need a subscription to get into. And once you're into that, rotowire.com/chat to get into our Discord. I'm going over these games, DFS, whatever, bets. First thing up, we got two massive favorites here. Been looking at these odds. They've been kind of going, they haven't been changing too much, but Manchester City, Liverpool. Manchester City, 80% chance to win. Liverpool, 75% chance. Clean sheet odds seem a bit high, just a little bit. Manchester City, 48% chance clean sheet. Liverpool, 43% clean sheet. And as you can see, based off the odds, implied goal totals are both fairly similar for Manchester City and Liverpool, and then for Fulham and West Ham. Again, some injury notes here. We got a couple questions. Jacksman asking about if KDB starts. What do we expect given his late fitness check here? As we see what the quote was. Kevin started to move but didn't train with the team. This was Tuesday. Pep Guardiola had his press conference. We have training in a few hours. We'll see how all the players feel. We don't really know exactly what the injury issue for De Bruyne is. I mean, he could have just been rested, and they're making something up for an injury, and he could be ready for 90. He could be ready for whatever. I mean, if you're expecting Manchester City to score 3 goals, then I'm not sure even considering KDB's playing time is a factor, because if De Bruyne starts here, he's going to get at least 60, 70 minutes here. They're home. Again, they're home against Leeds. They're home against Big Sam 3 days from now. So that's a fun one. We'll be talking about that one on Saturday's slate. But so it's not even like they have these extremely difficult matchups here where it's like, okay, KDB, we need him rested for these massive Premier League games against some bottom level teams. But of course, next week, a week from now, they got Real Madrid. So is there an article up? We do not have an article. This is the lone content we have for Wednesday's slates. This is better than the article. We got a fight going on in the chat. We'll have thoughts with actual lineups. Yeah, I am skipping the first. All right. We like all the info. These slates are just back to back to back. It's asking a lot from everyone just to have all these articles, have all these slates. We'll have another showdown show. I believe Dane Shynut will be on tomorrow's Thursday show for Brighton against Manchester United. So check that one out. We also got Kits and Wagers Thursday morning. We got a betting show. I am 60 and 30 on that show. So you're going to want to check that out if you're interested in betting. So for what we got here, you're going to have to make a decision of who you want to play. That's usually what it comes down to. So my thoughts on this are these clean sheet odds seem kind of high. I think the game that could have more goals is this Liverpool-Fulham match. The interesting note I found when looking at some prior results is that West Ham have held Manchester City to 2 goals or less in the last 7 meetings between them. I know that hasn't been with Haaland, though Haaland was playing earlier this season. I think it might have been the first game of the season. Haaland had a brace. I think it was a 2-0 win the first time these teams met. But I guess more injury news. I don't think Nathan Ake comes back in. The big thing with West Ham is that they lost Kurt Zouma to an ankle injury over the weekend. So they're going to change some things up. We'll see. It could be Ogbonna back there. It could be Carrere back there. We'll see. The big questions with them will be Emerson or Cresswell at left back. Maybe Ben Johnson comes in. Soufal has been the preferred option at right back. Otherwise, they did rotate a little bit. I think Pablo Fornal started over the weekend, but this is kind of their preferred look here. So I expect this will be what they're using against Manchester City. As for Liverpool, Thiago Alcantara was ruled out for the season. I mean, he hasn't been starting, but he's going to be out. We should get Jordan Henderson back in the starting 11. Was on the bench over the weekend. Curtis Jones has been starting, I think, 6 straight matches for him. Harvey Elliott started over the weekend. Diogo Jota has like 5 different knocks, so he could start, but we could see another start for Luis Diaz, who went about 60 minutes over the weekend. That's kind of it. We'll see if Darwin Nunez comes in. I guess that'll be one of the questions as well. He just has been he hasn't been really getting a ton of minutes. He's been one of the guys deep on the bench. And then we could get like a Joel Matip back in there for Konate, who was rested a week ago. Andy Robertson. We could see Simicast in here again, short week. So we don't know any of these things. Maybe the biggest injury news is coming for Fulham's side here. So Tim Ream is out for the season, and he had started every match prior. So while Issa Diop and Adarabio have been, split in time at center back, it's pretty relevant that Tim Ream is out. So they're going to have this kind of a newer back line of 2 guys who haven't seen a ton of time playing together this season. And then Andreas Pereira also out for the season. I expect we're going to get Tom Kearney in there, but maybe not. We'll see if Willian's ready to start. I wouldn't be surprised if De Cordova-Reid also started somewhere in there. Carlos Vinicius went 90 over the weekend. He started at forward. He got the goal. I think Fulham did they have 2 shots maybe against Manchester City? Their last away match, they had 1 shot. Let me see here. Give me all the winners, says Jack. All the winners. Yes, of course. I will have them all. Leak saying no Ederson today. Okay, well, we could see how much is Manchester City going to rotate? Either it's an injury or this is just getting leaks that Gakpo's not starting either. That one's not too surprising. Though I think that might mean Darwin Nunez is starting unless Jota is fine to start. We could see Diaz, Nunez, and Salah in there. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. The big thing with Liverpool is that pretty much everyone but Salah, like who's ever starting other than Salah, Salah is good for the 90. He's on PKs. He has a better floor than all those guys. Gakpo just hasn't had a floor. Diaz hasn't had a floor. It isn't like the time when earlier in the season, first half of the season, Darwin Nunez was just taking a shot anytime he had the ball. But because we also have rotation in play. So one thing we'll keep an eye on here is if Diogo Jota is actually in the lineup, because if he's not even in the team, that may lead to who's ever starting opposite of Salah. Maybe they could go full 90, something to keep an eye on there. So we'll be interested to see what Manchester City look like. We could get Phil Foden back in here. Grealish has been getting a lot of minutes, so we could see Foden back. That'll definitely change some things. We'll have to look at how many minutes he's been getting lately, but I think it's only 8 minutes if I remember correctly. So Foden doesn't have a ton of minutes on him. Will Riyad Mahrez start again? Got Bernardo Silva in right here. Will Julian Alvarez start again? Will Rodri start? I mean, if they're going to Ortega and it's not injury related for Manchester City, that'll be interesting. Looking at some reports here, Grealish, Haaland, Alvarez. Okay, that probably means De Bruyne is not starting. So basically, from the sounds of it, it's good thing we're doing this lineup release show, because it's impossible to create lineups without knowing some of these rotated sides, because we're looking at prices. I actually put together a lineup, or I tried to put, if you want Salah, we may not even have to deal with De Bruyne here, but if you want Salah, Haaland, and De Bruyne, you would have had to fade TAA, but it's possible. So if we don't get De Bruyne, I think that Haaland Salah lineups will be popular. As we're looking at the goal odds, minus 300 for Haaland to score, minus 125 for Salah. Harry Wilson. So Fulham set piece situation. We got about 5 minutes until lineup release. I want to touch on this a little bit. So we're not going to have Andreas Pereira. So that's a big thing. We're gonna see about Willian. I think we're gonna get three guys in play for set pieces. It's gonna be Kearney, Wilson, and Willian. So I went back to last season, and Willian and Kearney played together last season, but Wilson was the guy taking pretty much all the corners, majority of set pieces. I know that Wilson technically has 6 this season and Kearney has 6 this season, but I think without Pereira in here, Wilson may take that set piece role from Pereira, from Kearney. So I almost we'll see what the lineups look like. If Willian's in, that changes some things as well. So we got Willian at 6,500, but we have, I don't know if I want to say a free square here, but we have Harry Wilson, possible set pieces at 4,800, who has shown a floor without set pieces. And then Kearney is 4,100. Kearney is a different uh, subject here. He's played in the Premier League before. As we look back at his prior stats here, I have played him in DFS before. But I mean, as we look, obviously he's in the Pereira spot, so he hasn't seen a ton of time. And defensive midfielder, he doesn't. I mean, I also look back at last season. It's usually in this defensive midfield role that he's been playing. So he actually hasn't really played a lot in this attacking midfield role. There's not a ton of stats for that. But 4,100, if maybe if you're getting a full 90 from 4,100, possible corner, something to look at. But I kind of like Harry Wilson a little better, 700 more in that spot. As for, I'm just talking about third teams here. Guys like, you probably don't want, if you want a West Ham guy, you're just playing for the goal. Obviously, these guys aren't going to have floors. Paqueta is 5,100. He's been pretty much in this range for a long time. He's been in this 5K range for about the past month, I'd say. He has a couple goals, but you're basically hoping from these, I don't even think the Fulham guys, but from the West Ham guys, you're hoping for a spot on the score sheet. So Antonio, Benrahma, Bowen, I mean, those guys seem a little too expensive. I think Fulham, the problem with Fulham is that they've been really bad. They had one shot. I think they had 2 shots against Manchester City. Last away match, 1 shot against Aston Villa. On the other side of that, Liverpool have been allowing goals. They're allowing a bunch of goals. Okay, no Declan Rice. There's got to be an injury. You don't just bench Declan Rice against Manchester City unless you're just assuming the loss here. So some of my thoughts are changing here as lineups start to leak out. We got about 2 minutes here, but my initial thought was take both teams to score in both these games. Manchester City always in play to allow a goal. I think they've allowed at least 1 goal in their last 5 league matches. Liverpool, they're playing in this new style a little bit with TAA kind of in the central midfield role. While that maybe there's more possession there, they've been allowing a decent amount of chances. We just saw the Tottenham match. We saw the Nottingham Forest match. Nottingham Forest got a couple goals. Give us a takedown lineup. All right, I'm in. Chan. Nathan Ake is back. So, okay, we got 2 minutes here. Get a sip of water as we get ready. It already sounds like there's going to be a lot of changes here. So, we'll see what we can do. I got the RotoWire company meeting here in about a minute, but I'm going to be late to that. Sorry to RotoWire, but we got more important things here to talk about on this 2-game slate. Looks like it sounds like Kevin De Bruyne is not even in the squad. So that's not a worry here in terms of substitutes, but Roto Peter understand. All right. Well, this Manchester City lineup is interesting. We still don't know the Mahrez Bernardo Silva situation. Okay, if Alvarez and Holland are starting, okay, Declan Rice. If you take away Declan Rice from this West Ham midfield, like what are they? That's that's what I want to know. What are they? How many times has Declan Rice not started this season? He started every game in league play for West Ham this season. Okay, there's got to be an injury here. You don't just take unless this is a rumor here. Let's get into the lineups here. Again, we have Twitter lists on of the RotoWire Soccer Twitter account. But let's take a look. Here we are. Here we go. Tsimikas is in. Darwin Nunez is in. Okay. Again, these aren't too surprising. Okay. I think Liverpool's listing Salah in a central role. I'm not sure how much that matters, but I can't remember if Diaz played centrally much or not, or Nunez played centrally or not. But we got Luis Diaz, Salah, Nunez in. Henderson, Curtis Jones is still in there. Konate gets the call. Tsimikas is in for Robertson. Okay, so that's not overly surprising. Okay. Fulham, Cedric crossing master. Cedric Shores is back in for Kenny Tete, of course. Even though he could get 15 crosses in 70 minutes, it seems like Kenny Tete will probably come in at some point. We do have Sasha Lukic in for Harrison Reed in the midfield for Fulham here. Paulina's still in. Tom Kearney looks like he is the guy here as an attacking midfielder. Wilson on the right side. Willian is starting on the left side. And we're getting Carlos Vinicius here as a central forward again. Actually, let's look at the Liverpool bench here quickly. Robertson's there. Jota is available. Gakpo is available. So all the usuals are available. Harvey Elliott, Milner. Okay. So all the usuals are available. Tete is on the bench. De Cordova-Reid is available. Solomon, James available. So all these guys are available. You're going to guess Willian's not going to be ready for 90. So you're getting limited minutes from Willian coming off an injury. We'll see about Vinicius. He went 90 against Manchester City. De Cordova-Reid has played as a false nine at times. He could come on for him. We'll see about the Kearney situation. We'll see about the Wilson situation in terms of minutes. That will be interesting because you got to think Solomon will come on. You got to think maybe Danny James will come on as well. So you got three guys in the attack that could come on. Most likely to go 90. I would say Kearney. Just because he doesn't have a ton of minutes. Most likely to go 90. This is a difficult question. I'll say Harry Wilson, but don't take my word for it. Vinicius could be the 90 again as that central striker. We have the if you want to look at some, I believe it was a bunch of children did profile pictures of Manchester City players, and they posted all those earlier, and this is one of them here. I guess this is Ortega. Okay, so we got Ortega in. Nathan Ake is back. Kyle Walker. So we should have Kyle Walker, Diaz, Ake on as a 3-back line. We got Rodri, Stones as the defensive midfielders here. We have Mahrez is starting again. Okay, Gundogan has been dropped. Okay, Mahrez. I'll try to figure this out on the spot here. Bernardo can move around a lot. We'll call Mahrez on the right wing. We got Grealish on the left wing. And then it seems like Bernardo Silva will say that he's in the Gundogan role. So he's playing as kind of a central attacking midfielder along with Julian Alvarez here. So both those guys in that attacking midfielder role where we'd usually see a Kevin De Bruyne, where we'd usually see Gundogan playing. So those guys are there. Holland is up front. We got Foden on the bench. We have Gundogan on the bench as well. So those are the two guys to look out for. All right, West Ham. What do we got? They went to a back three. We got a back three for West Ham. How much does that mean? I don't know. As I was saying, West Ham have not allowed more than 2 goals against Manchester City in the past 7 matches. So David Moyes kind of knows something. We'll see what it means. But we got Kerrer, Ogbonna, Cresswell as center backs. Okay, well, I don't want to guarantee a back three because Emerson has played in the midfield at times. This is a weird lineup, but okay, I'll try and figure this out on the spot is a little difficult here, but it could be a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3. This will be something that we have to figure out in the next little bit. So check out our Discord, rotowire.com/chat. This will take some research to actually figure out here, to figure out what we're going to do with Emerson. Fornals is starting again. Let's actually let's look at Emerson to where he's actually played in the midfield really quickly here. Um, all right. So prior lineups with Emerson in the midfield. Okay, we know he's played on the left wing. I could have sworn he's played in like a 4-3-3 midfield, but that hasn't been the case. Okay, with that, let's try and decipher this one more time here. So they just list it weird. This could be a 5-3-2. 3-5-2, 5-3-2, however you want to call it. So you got Kara Ogbonna, Cresswell as center backs. You got Emerson on the left wing. You got Sufal on the right wing. You got Downs, Paqueta, Fornals as kind of midfielders. Downs is basically taking, well, maybe not even taking Declan Rice's spot, but Flynn Downs is, I don't know, a 19-year-old. So Declan Rice is out. Suchek is out as well. That's interesting. That's tough. Okay. Bowen, Antonio starting. So pretty difficult here for West Ham. They lose their two starting central midfielders against Manchester City. So Moyes changes up the formation. I'm going to have to think about that one some more because that's definitely changing some thoughts here. But okay. Let me pull up DraftKings really quickly and see what we can do because there are a decent amount of changes here. Let's look at the odds. The odds have actually gone down a little bit. Again, not too much, but as I said at the top here, I think it was 80 and 75% for the win percentage. So those look to have dropped. All right, but so we don't have De Bruyne. We're going to get heavy. There's going to be heavy numbers on Haaland and Salah. Question is, are you going to want Mahrez? So Mahrez was a little bit cheaper than 500 cheaper than De Bruyne. So can we figure out these minutes? I don't think these minutes. I don't think we can figure out these minutes. This is going to be impossible here. I thought Alvarez was going to go 90 last game. He went 82. He also took a couple corners. I'm not sure if that was actually later in the match. Look at these corners last match for Manchester City. Set piece numbers. Mahrez 1, Grealish 2. Haaland had the PK, Alvarez a couple as well. Okay, so that's interesting. I'm not sure how much it means, but we got Grealish on left-sided corners. I guess that's what it means there. So, okay. I'll try and decide if you fade Haaland or Salah, who do you want to fade? I think I'd fade. I think. You look at Haaland's floor lately. He's just getting a ton of shots. He has multiple shots on target in the last 4 matches. I think Haaland's going to be more popular. So in tournaments, I'd rather be more comfortable fading Haaland. Salah won't be as popular. He's more expensive, and his goal odds are minus 125. He is a bigger name, but it is minus 125 to minus 130. All right, maybe I shouldn't say bigger name. I take that back. But okay, so I would fade Haaland. That's the route I would take in tournaments. If you had to, if you wanted to fade one of those guys, I would fade Haaland. It just seems like Salah is the guy going for 90s. We know that he's on PKs for Liverpool, whereas it seems like the Manchester City PKs are kind of different every game. I know Haaland took the last one, but it was Mahrez before that. So something to keep in mind. Salah's floor hasn't been as good as Haaland's lately, but I'll take the risk there. Looking at the other forwards, Alvarez is 9,800, which is a lot. So if you fade Haaland, you can go at a lot of different places. You got Mahrez, Alvarez. I don't think Mahrez is a must in this spot. I know we've played him before with the exclusive role on set pieces, but I don't think it's a must here. Just because we already saw Grealish taking the left-sided corners there. Forward, Nunez is 8,800. Let's try and decipher minutes here. Nunez has not played more than 30 minutes since April. I don't think he's going to go more than 70 in this game, but he's a guy that shoots a ton. When he gets the ball, he shoots. So there's that. You got Diaz, another guy coming off injury. We saw what he did, 63 minutes over the weekend. I don't think he's going to be ready for more than 70. So you have to take that into account. I mean, he basically had the goal and a shot assisted in the last game. Just these Liverpool guys with huge upside, but they don't really have a floor. Bowen at 7,100, just too much. Vinicius, why not? 4,100. Go with Vinicius. He got the goal. I do think this could be like a Bernardo Silva slate. He's in this Gundogan role where, at times that role has been like whoever's up there, Gundogan, Bernardo, like you're just floating at the top of the box and you get the rebound. Holland shot on target, ball comes out top of the box, rebound, Bernardo Silva. Kind of feels like Bernardo Silva slate, even though that's kind of weird to say. But you have the 5 defenders for West Ham, so you kind of know how they're going to play. They just gave up 4 goals at Crystal Palace, only had 40% possession, so it's going to be a usual Manchester City 70% possession. Bernardo Silva is cheaper. He's 6,400. All right, let me get the midfielders here. See if anyone who stands out. I still like Harry Wilson. He's down here at 4,800. I may come back to bite me here that he may not even be the one taking corners with Willian on there, but I'd much rather go Wilson than Willian at 6,500. I do think Fulham can get a goal with how Liverpool have been playing. So we do have a Simicast question here as well. Okay, Jordan Henderson's 4,200. We've been playing Jordan Henderson in this spot. He's been playing kind of on the wing, sending crosses in. Henderson has to be in play here. So you got these Wilsons, you got these Henderson, you got these cheaper midfielders that you can use if you want to use Holland, Salah, Mahrez, Alvarez. So you got these cheaper midfielders you can use that aren't the worst plays. Pablo Fornals, I just can't go with the West Ham guys. I'm much more comfortable going Fulham guys here just because I think they're more likely to score here. Simicast is only 5,700. That's close to a lock for me. Crosses more than Robertson, and he's cheap. Alexander-Arnold, I don't think he's a lock in cash games. His floor honestly hasn't been there. On the downside, if there's 15 corners, he can have a nice floor. But, you look at the numbers. He's getting an assist every match, but his floor just hasn't been the same playing in this more central role. Basically, majority of his crosses are coming from corners. So take that into consideration. This could be a repeat of the Nottingham Forest match. Or if you take away the assist against the game, against the games against Tottenham and West Ham, he wasn't even reaching a 10-point floor. So you got all that in there. Center back punt. What do we got? Center back. I don't want to go Manchester City player. I'll say Virgil van Dijk here at 3,700. I think he has 2 shots each of the last 3 matches. Goalkeeper, play whoever you want. I'm going to be playing Leno or Fabianski. I do think Ortega and Alisson are in range to allow a goal, and I don't want to pay for those guys who may not be getting a ton of save opportunities. All right, that's all I got. Been going through here. All right, so I'll try and get through some questions here before jumping off. I got to make my own lineups. Got to put my own bets in as well. Just got home starting late. I believe Big Sam is 4-0 all time against Pep. Okay, we're talking Manchester City Leeds. Okay, got it. Simicast, Jack Burkhart, Simicast salary relief helps. Yes, West Ham back 5s, 4-0, 3.2K punt. More likely to go 90, Gundogan or Bernardo Silva. Okay. All right. There we go. Flynn down season. Cresswell center back, yes. Okay, West Ham only 7 on the bench, so they're short. Yep. Yeah, so some interesting injuries, maybe some illness going through West Ham. 100% Bernardo. There you go. Yeah, I know Kearney can take corners. The big thing with Kearney, this Kearney situation, I know he's cheaper, but you look at last season when Kearney and Harry Wilson played together. Harry Wilson had 100 more corners last season than Kearney. Kearney was not taking corners, and this is still Marco Silva. Maybe it's going to change in an attacking midfielder role, but I think that you throw in Willian, I think I'm going to give the edge to Harry Wilson there. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so that's all I got. Any questions, jump into the Discord, rotowire.com/chat. You can find me at RotoZdroik on Twitter, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 48-hour trial. Thanks for watching this Kits and Wagers betting show. tomorrow a.m. We'll go over 3 matches. We got a team parlay for the weekend, game week 35 in the Premier League. And then Friday, we got another DFS show for DraftKings. Thanks for watching this 30 minutes of madness. Good luck on everything. Good luck on this slate. And if Bernardo Silva gets 2 points, do not blame me.